Yo, what's good, my peoples? It's your boy, Big Chris, aka the Compton Animator, and I'm here to bring you another WWE Raw review. So tonight I'm reviewing WWE Raw for August the 25th, 2014. And let's get into everything. Got a little bit of news to hit you with. First off, TNA, who's now on Wednesday nights on Spike TV, may end up having another buyer, or I guess what you would call another place to go, another place to put their show on, which is Discovery and their Velocity channel. I'm not too much sure about this channel. I've never really seen it. I know about Discovery, but not really about their Velocity channel. So interesting to see if they're going to be able to go there. Whether or not, the rumor is that this channel has offered them a deal, but the deal is like probably half of what they're getting from Spike. So not sure what it is, but if you can't, something is probably better than nothing, to tell you the truth, with TNA. So they may end up taking this, and you just may end up getting a less of a show that we're even getting right now. Next, you have this, which I thought was pretty funny, which was a guy who's robbing a store or some bullshit, but he was wearing a CM Punk shirt, and that was the thing that they recognized him by. So I thought that was pretty funny. And also just more stuff. They hyped the WWE card game up more this week, so I think it's a pretty fun game, and if you want it, go play it. The only thing I really don't like about it is that the King of the Rings part is like a whole day thing. It just plays out throughout the day, so you just have to remember every so and so, like an hour or whatever, to go and boost your stamina up for your guys and stuff like that. But as a app to play, just off and on for about 10 or 5 minutes and stuff like that, I think it's pretty fun. And finally, there is some talk about Ryback, and I guess he posted this on Twitter that he may end up taking a little bit of break right now to kind of heal up on his injuries and stuff. So we may not end up seeing Ryback. So for a minute, we may see Curtis Axel do a job here and there, but hopefully Ryback gets better. He did get a big pop last week, so hopefully he comes back, and hopefully they can do something with him and not just have the big guy be just another tag team squash guy. So tonight's Raw, you had the Emmys on at the same time, which both were in LA. Raw was in Anaheim tonight, which is also like right next door to LA. But you had the Emmys, which are in LA as well. So Raw had to go up against the beast that was the Emmys, and they had a lot of BS on their show tonight too. So I didn't watch the Emmys. I can care less about that shit. But tonight's Raw, August 25th, 2014. And they start off with some stuff for Cena and Lesnar, and they're going to fight at Night of Champions. And you start off with the panel who comes out. And I think we had a panel for Night of Champions last year, because I remember talking about the same type of fucking panel type shit for Night of Champions. But you start off with a panel, Shawn Michaels, Hulk Hogan, and Ric Flair, and basically you get Shawn Michaels saying that he doesn't think John Cena has what it takes to go again and try to fight Brock Lesnar, and that if he does it again, this will be the last time we see Cena, and that Cena needs to retire after this. This is not Cena's time no more. You get Ric Flair, who kind of says the same thing, that he has a little bit more confidence in Cena, but Cena's not going to be able to do this. And you have Hulk Hogan, who has full confidence in Cena and says, that's his guy. He stands behind Cena and stuff. You get Cena, who actually comes out. He kind of jokes with the guys, saying how much he admires them. And then he goes in and he just starts going in on Brock Lesnar and saying, yeah, you kicked my ass, but, I'm able to stand up and I'm able to come back. I never give up. And I didn't, really give up that night. I mean, the SummerSlam night. But, I did get an ass kicking. But, I can't come back. I know who you are now, and I know what I'm going against right now, and I can't come back to fight you and not just beat you, but beat your ass. I wish you would have said kick your ass instead of beat your ass, but it's whatever. And then he leaves. How I feel about this whole segment and the promo and stuff, it was an okay promo from Cena. I thought, he did kind of bring it up a little bit back more. I do kind of wish that they didn't come back to this so quickly. Maybe have one buffer pay-per-view before you go back to Cena and say that, he's healed up and he's now ready to fight Brock Lesnar again and stuff. I wish you had a buffer between here, but I'm okay with them going, because you don't really know who in the hell you want to face Lesnar right after this. I would say this, that the panel itself really wasn't that great. I thought the guys did an okay job, Ric Flair and all them, the legends, but they did feel heavily scripted, and it's something that, I guess you have to do with a guy like Ric Flair, who would just go off on tangents and his own thing, as well as Shawn Michaels and Hulk Hogan. So they did kind of heavily script these guys, but I wish they kind of let them just get bullet points a little bit more. And you could have just made this shorter if you're just going to give them bullet points. But the whole beginning segment was okay. Next, you go into a match with Jack Swagger versus Rusev, and I actually like this match a lot. I thought these two guys just started off really nicely, just going at each other. Swagger getting his moves in, Rusev coming back. But the story of this match was Rusev just going at Swagger's ribs, who was already injured, that Rusev has already been going at, and Cesaro has been going at as well. And you had Swagger trying to come back, but Rusev just kept going in and just kept attacking those ribs. And he started attacking them so much that Swagger just wasn't doing anything. And it kind of inflicted some MMA type stuff here where, Swagger just wasn't being responsive, and he wasn't trying to attack back or try to fight out of getting his ribs torn up. So you have the referee who stops the match and gives the win to Rusev, saying that Swagger couldn't fight no more. He kind of gave up. So, not really gave up, but Swagger couldn't fight no more, and he wasn't really fighting back. So you had them kind of give in. I kind of like that because, it is what happens in the UFC where, a guy gets beat down so much, he's kind of like what they say, sleep fighting, or whatever they say, like fighting, sleep on your feet fighting, and that's kind of what Swagger was doing here. They played that up, and I think they could have played up a little harder here, but I like what they did here and stuff. And then you have Rusev and Lana, who basically cheer at the end. So I really did like that. And you have Swagger sell the ribs and that he was just hurting and shit. And you get to the back, Swagger's with the trainers and stuff, and you get Bo Dallas, who comes in and says, not only have you let down yourself and me, but you let down 318 million people in this country, and you've done it again. You let us down. So what you need to do is you need to start believing stuff. So I like this. I like them continually having Bo Dallas just come in and play the asshole and dig into Swagger and dig into all this stuff. They kind of completed the match and stuff with Rusev and saying, Swagger just doesn't have what it takes to fight Rusev. And I like that they keep playing, building up these different guys. You had Big E that kind of took it to Rusev and was, bringing up a little bit more out of Rusev, and, but still could not, bring it to defeat. He still had to tap and stuff like that. Then you have Swagger, who's getting more out of Rusev and, actually hurting him and stuff. But, Swagger is not going to tap to him, and he's just, just can't beat him. Yeah, he can get some real good offense on, but he just can't beat him. But Swagger has the resiliency not to tap to him. And now you got, Rusev going against probably somebody like Mark Henry, who's just, not going to take the bullshit, and they're just going to have a big back and forth. But you also got Bo Dallas coming in and keeping the whole Swagger babyface thing going. So I do like that a lot, and I like where this whole Rusev, Swagger, and now Bo Dallas storyline is going. So also they talked about that they're putting more stuff onto the network. They said that they're going to have 100 hours of the Nitros on the network. So that's really good to give me some chance to watch some old Nitros that I haven't seen in a long time, and some that I've never seen because I was more of a WWE fan back in the day than I was a WCW fan. But also they're going to show some Jeff Hardy stuff on Wednesday for an old DVD that he had. And they're going to put it on the Behind the Ring little segments. Behind the Ring little show. So, you got that on the network, and they just, they actually hyped up the network a pretty good amount this week. This for week for Raw. So I like that. It's just funny to me how they're putting this on Wednesday and damn near right around the same time that TNA has their stuff on Wednesday. So some kind of acting with TNA and WWE right here, which I thought was pretty funny. So next you have Sheamus, who comes on the commentary, and there's a number one contenders match for his U.S. title. And you get Cesaro and Rob Van Dam, who go back and forth with each other, and they're trying to get to win number one contenderships for the title. But it ends up with Cesaro hitting the neutralizer for the win, and finally actually, on a pretty little small winning streak here. So he gets outside the ring, grabs Cesaro's U.S. title. Cesaro kind of grabs Sheamus' U.S. title, and Cesaro kind of, says, give it back to me. So he throws it in his face, and you get the big stare down between both guys. I really did like that, and I thought that was a nice little way to go between both guys and to, kind of play up the more tension between Cesaro and Sheamus, who have had, some confrontations before, and playing up more with this. So hopefully we get something good out of this, and hopefully, even though it's mid-card, we still get these two guys who play it up a little bit more, and, you actually get a match for Night of Champions with all the titles and not just, having some of the titles not there. So Next, we get a Divas match, and this is Natalya versus Paige for like the third time. But, these two go at it, and they have a pretty little technical matches going back and forth with each other. Paige kind of gets Natalya back off of her, then Natalya ends up getting Paige into the sharpshooter. Paige tries for the PTO, but Natalya gets out, and then you get Natalya who gets hit with the Paige Turner, and Paige pick up the win here. AJ Lee comes out, and then Natalya hits Paige with the discus clothesline, and AJ Lee helps Paige up, and then you get AJ Lee who weirdly hugs Paige. Paige kind of just plays it off a little bit awkwardly, and then AJ Lee kisses Paige's hand, and Paige plays that off awkwardly as well. This is just like too soft-core for me, and not saying soft-core porn-wise, but soft-core story writing-wise. If you're gonna have this, you gotta have it to where one girl's playing a straight man, to where she doesn't want this at all. She's trying to get this girl off of her, and then you get AJ Lee who's playing, I'm now going to out crazy you. Done pissed me off, so you done drove me to this point of craziness, and I'm gonna do what I do. If you want to do this, you gotta either go the full-blown, Mickey James, Trish Stratus route, where, you get AJ Lee, who's, full-on lesbian with this and stuff like that, Attitude Era style, where she's, just messing with Paige and stuff like that, and just, trying her best to do all that stuff and kissing her and stuff. Or, you go where AJ Lee was earlier last year and stuff, where she's just, not last year, but when she was doing all the things with the dudes and stuff, to where she is playing a little sexual game up with a Paige and stuff, but more along the lines of playing a little sweet, a kind of crazy that she does, where she jumps on people and stuff like that, and kisses them and stuff. One or two ways. You can't play it, smoothly and, middle of the road and not really trying to play the lesbian thing of, either you're going to do it or you're not going to do it. You can't just, do it mildly. You got to punch it, then you can play it up a little bit more to the pay-per-view. But you also could do this way, and this is the thing that I've been wanting of the Divas. You got somebody like Ronda Rousey out there who's dominant, crazy. The girls, just going back and forth, blood and guts, and just going really at each other. But they're also playing, the girl's pretty and stuff like that, and being a pretty girl, but also the tough girl. That's what they could be doing with the Divas. AJ Lee can play the pretty girl, but she can also get in there and really have a good match. So can Paige. Paige can play the anti-diva and be the tough British chick, but can also play a straight and play a badass at the same time. So you play that difference between both of the girls, and that's just something that WWE is not doing with them, and that's something that they really do need to play up with these divas. You give them time. Like I said, with Ronda Rousey, that's a girl who just is a badass at what she does, and she's getting a lot of hype off of it. WWE needs to take some of that and push up. They kind of are doing it with their divisions, so they see that, the Ronda Rouseys of the world are getting more hype and damn near the biggest thing in the UFC, but they need to play it up as with their moves and the wrestling and stuff. This is wrestling. Use the wrestling for these girls and get the crowd into that. And that's exactly what the WWE is not doing. So next you get a segment that the WWE is doing right, and it's with Brock Lesnar. And this is another one of those Brock Lesnar, what do you call them, taped promo segments, and Brock Lesnar kills this one. He's sitting with Paul Heyman, and you just get Brock Lesnar talking, and Paul Heyman talking about, Cena came back, and now he's trying to play this, never give up thing, but that's bullshit. You can't do that with us. You had his daddy that told him, always stand up. Every time the big man knocks you down, stand back up and shit. But, you're not going to do that with me. I was going to take pity on you at first, and that's what I did by just pinning you and not destroying you. But now I'm going to fuck you up, basically, And I really did like this with Brock Lesnar. When he does these, I can listen to him do these little taped promos for crazy long times, because these are the UFC style things that Brock Lesnar is used to, and I can look to see him do more of these while he's in his title reign. This is the type of things that you do with Brock Lesnar. You don't give him a live mic and just put him in the ring. You give us these taped promos, and you give us something that is more concrete, where you're just cutting things together. This is also another high point for the WWE. This is what they do well. so this is what you do with Brock Lesnar. You have him do these type of things. This is where Brock Lesnar's gold is, and he was really gold right here, and he looked really intimidating. And when they did a close up on his eyes and shit, and just how crazy his eyes looked, it was just done very well here. And I really did like this. And he just said, this bullshit with Cena, and that he's not going to take any pity on him. He's basically going to fuck him up. So I really did like this. Next, you get a thing that I thought was pretty chill, which was Kane, who comes out, and they're doing a eulogy for Dean Ambrose, and you get Seth Rollins, who comes out and basically says, they demolished Dean Ambrose last week, put his head through cinder blocks, he left the hospital and stuff like that, nowhere to be found, and that, Dean Ambrose had a chance to be just, kind of step back and not try to take Seth Rollins, but Seth Rollins is too smart for him, and Dean Ambrose is a lunatic, loose cannon, and they had to do what they had to do and take him out and stuff like that. They played this whole thing up of, that Dean Ambrose is now gone, and, they finally defeated him and stuff like that, and I really did like this here. Then you get, Seth Rollins, who just goes in on Dean Ambrose and how he's, just demolished everything. Then you get Roman Reigns, who comes out, attacks Kane, beat the shot of Kane, gets into the ring, before he gets in the ring, stares down Seth Rollins, gets in and just starts beating the shit out of Seth Rollins, and just, he's about to spear Seth Rollins, and then you get Kane, who pulls out Seth Rollins and stuff. So I thought this segment was pretty chill, and I thought it did exactly what it needs to do, kind of writing off Dean Ambrose for a little bit, but also pushing the feud to now Roman Reigns, another member of the Shield, and now you can play the fact up that Seth Rollins is going to fully take out his other Shield members, now going after Roman Reigns. So I think this is very good in a very nice way to put each guys together, and also here, you have something with Roman Reigns, who's not really great in the ring, but you can play it up more with Seth Rollins and how good Seth Rollins is in the ring. And, you get a real good dynamic where Seth Rollins can do the fast moves to keep the match high-paced, but also have Roman Reigns, play his pace and play his strong moves. So I like this little segment a good amount. So next you get Stardust and Goldust, which now they call them Gold and Stardust. They just call them all as one now, versus the Usos for the tag team titles. And you get both teams who go at each other, and I thought, they started off pretty chill and, doing a nice job of going after each other. Then when they started doing all the jumping off the ring and picking up the pace, the match started to get a little bit more fun. But you get one of the Usos who hurts his leg on the jump out, couldn't get in the ring before a 10 count, and ends up getting counted out. The Dust Brothers pick up the win here, but the Usos are still champions. Then you get Goldust, who picks up a mic, says, "This was our one chance to get at the titles, and you screwed us out of it. We want a rematch now." The Usos basically say, "He's hurt, we can't do a rematch right now." And then you get the Dust Brothers, who attack the Usos and work on a leg, get back in the ring, and just stare them down. And now you have your heel turn for the for the Dust Brothers. I like this a lot as far as the heel turn for Goldust and Stardust. I think that their characters as these guys like this work better as heels, because they're playing more up to the Goldust and the weirdness characters that they are, and you're not having what is Cody Rhodes and just Dustin Rhodes dressed up as Goldust, which what they were when they were the Brotherhood. They were less the Goldust character and more they're who they are in real life, with just the characters that they are on TV mixed in with that. So I liked how they're turning them heel now and playing more of the vindictive side of the Goldust and Stardust characters, which I think Goldust is a better character when he is a heel. And Stardust as well looks like he may be a better character when he is a heel too. So a little bit less goofy and more heelish. It may work for these guys. So next you get the Miz, who comes out. He starts talking about how he's at Disneyland and he got to move in front of the line of everybody else and how much of a star he is. Then he says that he doesn't need to fight all his matches. That's not what stars do. He has a stunt double. So he brings out his stunt double, and it's Damien Sandow dressed as a Miz, and he calls him Damien Mizdow. And I thought this was really funny. They point to each other, and they do this little spin thing, which I thought was really funny. But you get the Miz, who goes to commentary, does a little, Hollywood cheer up with the guys, the heel guys, and the baby faces at the commentary, and then wipes his hand like this germs on them and stuff. And then you get the match between Damien Mizdow and Dolph Ziggler, and basically you playing these two matches up and stuff like that. You get Sandow, who plays more of the Miz moves, but Ziggler, who finally hits up with the zigzag and picks up the win here. And then you get the Miz, who just claps Ziggler on, saying, good job, great, beautiful, man, and stuff like that. I like the Miz right now. The Miz is playing a really nice heel. You can really get that, I love you, hate you type thing with him. You want to see Dolph Ziggler win. You want to see Dolph Ziggler go forward. But, the Miz is being a really great heel, and he's fun to watch. That's the difference between somebody who's a heel and, you just hate him with all your guts because he's bad, and between somebody who you hate because, he's not one of your favorite guys, but he is making himself entertaining right now. You can have somebody like Rusev who not Rusev, not a good example, but somebody like a Cena who, you dislike, but, he can do good in the ring at certain times, if they book him right. Versus somebody like The Miz who, right now you can love to hate, like a Brock Lesnar who you can love to hate, That's the type of difference between what, the guys who are really just shitty versus the guys who are good at what they do. And I thought this was a pretty good match in segment. So next you get the family reconciliation and the Bellas. So you get the King come out and he tries to do this little thing where he talks about what happened last week and what's been going on with the Bellas and shit. I didn't like him here at all, trying to introduce this whole segment and stuff. Too casual, not kind of like he's supposed to be an interviewer for these girls. And King is just horrible when he does these type of things. Then you get the Bellas who come out. Nikki Bella comes out and she moves her chair all the way to the side. Brie Bella comes out. Nikki goes, you could have used another theme song, and she says you could have the theme songs and shit. Then they start arguing with each other. Brie's trying to say, why are you doing this and stuff like that. Nikki's basically saying, you're being the bad twin the whole time and all this other bullshit between them two, and that, you let Stephanie do all this stuff to me and get me in these handicap matches and stuff while you just quit and stuff like that. You leave me alone here and stuff. What else did they say? Just a bunch of bullshit, tell you the truth. Tell you the truth, Nikki isn't horrible here. She isn't the worst at the acting thing. At the promo thing. She's mediocre at best. She's better than Brie, put it like that. Brie's very bad when she cuts her promos, but Nikki isn't horrible. She's very mediocre. So she's better than Brie at the promos, and you get Brie who does this horrible crying, what she's been doing lately, just very bad. So she says that she wishes that Brie was aborted or some shit like that, and that they were talking about how they were holding hands in the womb, and she said that you wasn't holding my hand, you were just holding me back and stuff like that. Then you get Brie who grabs her and just, that's when she says that, I wish you died in the womb, and then she leaves away, pushes Brie. King tries to break it up. King gets the shit slapped out of him and actually missed this spot, and they had to re-show it later. But King gets the shit slapped out of him. Then you get the crowd who starts chanting Jerry, kind of like chanting for the Jerry, but also doing the Jerry chant that they do in Jerry Springer, which I thought was very funny. You get them two who starts fighting each other. She throws her shoes at Brie Bella. She picks her up. You get the King who tries to break her up, and I just kept thinking of, this fucking horn dog King, he's copping the field at this time. Watch out, Cena. And then, you just get that and stuff, and they finally break him up, and you get Brie who starts doing the fucking weirdo ass crying and shit. And yeah, this segment, man, just bad acting all around, mediocre acting all around. It's just a bunch of BS, man. So it is what it is. I'm happy we're getting another Diva segment. It's not just one show, but we're just going to have to deal with what we have for now and just either fast forward or sit through this crap. So, it wasn't horrible as, say, a segment goes, but it was by no means good. So, next you get a match with Seth Rollins, I keep wanting to say Dean Ambrose, but Seth Rollins and Kane handicap match versus Roman Reigns. They set this up on a backstage promo, and you basically get them two who just go at each other. Kane tries to go at Roman Reigns, and then you get just them two go back and forth. You actually get Roman Reigns, who picks up more of the momentum, then hits the spear. It looks like he's going to get a win out of it, but you get Seth Rollins, who hits him with the briefcase, and they basically start beating the shot at Roman Reigns, bring him to the side, reveal that they're cinder blocks just like last week. They get ready to put him through cinder blocks, but Roman Reigns comes back, Superman punch to Kane, attacks Kane, Superman punch to Seth Rollins, takes one of the cinder blocks, goes to Seth Rollins, and throws it at him. Seth Rollins ducks it. The cinder block explodes on the ring post, and like just explodes like crazy. And I really did like this because I thought it was really good to have it to where, you know, you play up to that the cinder blocks may have been real, that Dean Ambrose got his head put through. So, you know, you actually show a real cinder block exploding, or as real as can be, to get it to explode like that on the ring post and showing, you know, how crazy it is and stuff like that. Seth Rollins ducks and he runs away, and you get Roman Reigns, who attacks Kane, Superman punches him, and then you get Roman Reigns gets in the ring and stares down with Seth Rollins while Seth Rollins yells at him. One other thing about those cinder blocks, one of them almost hits not Kane, but what's his name, Jerry Lawler, and you know that brings another piece of realism to it, because Jerry, I think he was legitimately pissed that one of these cinder blocks either hit him or almost hit him. And you got Michael Cole during the segment say, "Are you okay, Jerry?" and stuff like that. So I thought that was very good and just brought a little bit of reality to the whole segment with the cinder blocks and stuff like that. You know, that these guys can get hurt like this and stuff, and that, you know, that may have been a real cinder block and stuff. So I really liked this segment, and I thought that added some realism to everything. So next you get a promo with Heath Slater and Titus O'Neil, Slater Gator, and they start talking about Disney and Marvel characters and stuff like that and which one they are. Then you get them to go into a match. You get Echo and Primo, or whatever the fuck their names is, Los Matadors, trying to go at Slater Gator. They do back and forth and shit like that. Then you get Slater Gator, who does some comedy shit with each other, you know, pushing each other and stuff like that and tagging each other in and shit. And then you get Slater, who gets rolled up with the whatever that name of the roll up is. I really don't care about this fucking match. And then they argue with each other and shit. Yeah, this match right here, man, just it was longer than the fucking it was longer than the cinder block match but the cinder block whole thing with Kane, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns. You know, this was just filler and did not need to be on this show. This is a fucking superstars match. So next you get Bo Dallas versus Kofi Kingston. Kofi Kingston actually looked pretty good here, and this another thing. I wish they kept that stable going, man. You know, Kofi's a good wrestler, and you know he can be really good, I think, as a heel. And you get these two, Bo Dallas and Kofi, who have a match, go back and forth with each other, but Bo ends up hitting the Bulldog for the win, and he actually almost botches the Bulldog, but he ends up finishing it off. He doesn't really get his footing right and almost fully botches it, but Kofi kind of brings him up and he finishes it off. So then he starts telling Kofi, you know, you shouldn't feel bad. You're not a loser like Swagger, who, you know, you just lost to me. You didn't lose, and you just disappointed yourself. You didn't disappoint the 318 million people in America. And then you get Swagger. I keep wanting to call him Rusev now. So you get Swagger, who comes out, hits the belly to belly or side slam, whatever the fuck this move is called, onto Bo Dallas and walks away and holding his ribs and shit. So you get more of them going back and forth with Swagger and Bo. So I like this pretty much, and the match was okay for what it was. So next you get your main event, John Cena versus Bray Wyatt, and this is basically to see if John Cena still has it. And this is what you call the domination of Bray Wyatt. So basically, John Cena goes at Bray Wyatt, hits him with clotheslines and fists and stuff like that, then starts hitting him with German suplexes. You get John Cena, who's just looking supposedly evil at Bray Wyatt and giving him the stink eye and shit, telling him to stay down. Bray Wyatt's playing the whole thing up that, you know, oh shit, I wasn't expecting this. I was expecting a, you know, more beaten down Cena, and I actually got someone who's ready for a fight and who's going at me and stuff like that. He's telling Bray Wyatt to stay down, don't get up. Bray Wyatt does come back with some moves and stuff like that, but Cena just takes it to Bray Wyatt and just starts beating the shit out of him. You get the Wyatt family, who comes in for the breakup, but you get Big Show and Mark Henry, who comes to break that up and stuff. Then you get during the commercial break, the whoever comes out and makes it a 6-man tag match. They go at it. Mark Henry gets a bunch of chants. Both teams are going at each other and stuff. And you get the faces come back. Then you get Cena, who puts in Luke Harper into a tightly clinched this time STF, which only thing that good's come out of this is that he actually has tightly clinched in these FTFs. And he picks up the win by tap out. Then he starts going crazy. F5 to Luke Harper. You get Henry and Show pulls Bray Wyatt back into the ring. F5 to Bray Wyatt. Then F5 to Luke Harper. And you get Cena, who stands up, strong, tall, looking menacing, shit like that. They buried the shot of Bray Wyatt. They buried the living shit out of Bray Wyatt. I get it. And if it was done with any character, I would have been fine with the segment. It was played up fine. It was played up nicely. Bray Wyatt got his money tonight. He went there and he did exactly what he needed to do. He played the role of John Cena from SummerSlam. You know, he built up Cena as looking tougher and stuff like that. He did it. God to Bray Wyatt, he did it. Cena did not need to do this to Bray Wyatt. Cena could have came back, did training montages, whatever. You didn't need to bury Bray Wyatt or the Wyatt family like this. Unneeded. Bray Wyatt supposedly is coming off a strong win against Jericho. Not a great match, but better than his last. And it looked like he was coming up. This fully brings Bray Wyatt down, right back down till after he got beat by Cena several months back after WrestleMania. This brings Bray Wyatt back down. You are destroying your only monster. You are destroying the only real faction you have left. You got the World's Strongest Tag Team beating the Wyatt family members twice now, one on SmackDown and one on Raw, and now you got the whole team of guys beating the shit out of the whole Wyatt family now. A problem with not only TNA, WWE, and several other companies, even ROH is going through this. You're not giving your new guys the credit that they deserve to build themselves up as stars. Your older guys like Cena, like Jericho, and stuff like that can't take losses. Jericho will take a loss. It's not about him. It's about guys like Cena, guys like Randy Orton, guys like, Sheamus, who have substantial wins, who are the guys that, are built up tall, built up very strong, but rarely put over these guys like Roman Reigns, rarely put over, these littler guys like basically Bray Wyatt, like Ziggler, like Cesaro. And this is not to blame Cena, because Cena has nothing to do with this. This is to blame the creative team. This is to blame Vince McMahon. I heard on the podcast where they were talking about how, there was a confidential panel before SummerSlam with the DX members, and you had Shawn Michaels talk about how NXT is really the only thing that Triple H 100% controls. He doesn't have a bunch of control when it comes to the main events and main roster stuff with the WWE main roster. He has some control, but Vince is still the top guy. And you can most definitely tell this is Vince. He wants to make Cena look strong, so he's going to bury the younger guys. He's going to bury Bray Wyatt. And this is just a thing that's been happening for years. This is the symptom of something that happened with Ryback. Cena gets into Ryback, beats the shot of Ryback. Now Ryback is in a tag team with Curtis Axel, being beat by Stardust and Goldust, being beat by, everybody, being beaten in handicap matches by one guy. Ryback, who was one of the biggest things coming in last year, or the year before last. This is just the scene that the WWE is in right now. Cena has had demolishings to other people before. He's beat the shit out of other guys. He could come back without doing this to Bray Wyatt. Enough of the rants. As far as this show goes, it was very average, C-. Last week's was a little bit better. What saved last week's show from me thinking it was average was the end match with Ambrose and Seth Rollins. That's putting your new guys up on a higher pedestal. letting Bray Wyatt get demolished like this does nothing. And this is nothing about heel and faces and stuff like that. This is about seeing your future go for somewhere. And this doesn't give me the feeling that, I'm going to be able to see Bray Wyatt as a top main eventer going down the road, which him and the Wyatt family have the possibility of doing. It's like the WWE built the Shield up to be strong, but forgot about the Wyatt family. Just saw them as a, heavy gimmick characters that they could just, beat up, and they don't matter about wins because they're monsters and they can lose every now and then. It's total bullshit. The ending match was okay. I was fine with what Cena was doing. I was fine with Cena getting his momentum back. I'm fine with that. But not at the expense of one of your hottest characters. Basically all I gotta say. Thank you for watching, people. Hopefully they can do something with Bray Wyatt for him to get his strength back. Hopefully it's not another match with Jericho. I wouldn't mind him facing another face and somebody, whoever it is, give Bray Wyatt some time off. Fuck it, let him get some time off, then come back as a monster. That's the only thing I can think that can save Wyatt for now. We're going to see something on SmackDown with the other Wyatt family members. They're probably going to lose again at that, so hit me down in the contacts down below. Like, comment, subscribe. Sorry to end it on a note like this, but it has to be said, WWE has fucked that ending up right there. So, it's just a character that could be strong, could be your future characters that you're pushing now. So, yeah, like, comment, subscribe. Hit me up in the links down below. Keep watching wrestling if you can, if it's still good to you. If not, stop. Please stop. But I'm going to keep going for a while, and I'm going to keep going until I hate it. So, thank you for watching. See you Friday or Thursday if they push it to Thursday. But see you Friday night SmackDown. Peace.